All right, so you've made your mind up. You want to take a look at the Rock Island Armory revolver, whether it be the Model 200 or the Model 206. All you have to do on YouTube is punch in Rock Island Armory revolver fail, problems, issues. You're going to get a bunch of hits. These guns are made in the Philippines, and the Philippines is not known as a beacon of quality. So they do have some quality control issues. The thing is, if you get one of these that's good, it tends to be really good. If you get a bad one, you know, there's some real horror stories out there. So I'm going to show you just a few things. This is not an all-inclusive video by any means, so I'm going to leave some stuff out just to keep the video short. And, you know, you're going to be doing this in a shop. You don't want to buy one of these online sight unseen. You want to go to your shop and be able to look it over. And some shops are only going to allow you to go so far when you're looking a revolver over. So I'm just going to cover the things that I'm seeing most here on YouTube. First thing is timing. Some of these get out of the factory and the timing is just way off. You can check the timing by thumb cocking the revolver very slowly. You'll see the cylinder starts to move. Let me back up here. Let me show you the parts involved in this process. You've got your cylinder stop. Hopefully you can see that. You've got your cylinder hand that reaches out from the frame here and engages the gear on the extractor. See if you can see it. It should come out right there. Right there's the hand. So it reaches up, and that's how it turns the cylinder. All these things have to work together to keep this thing in proper time. So you can thumb cock it. You'll see the cylinder start to turn. You'll hear 3 clicks. The first click, when you first start cocking it, that hand or that cylinder stop is going to drop out of the way. That doesn't make any noise, but when it engages the cylinder, you'll hear it. So try to do this where I can be quiet enough to hear it. Leaning here with my microphone. Cylinder starts to turn. There's the first click. The cylinder stop has engaged the cylinder wall, but not in a groove yet. Now we'll hear a second click. All right. So now that second click, the cylinder is locked. That was the cylinder stop engaging the cutout there on the cylinder. And of course the third click is the hammer engaging the sear and locking back. So this one, as far as that goes, is in good time. Of course, that's assuming the cylinder is cut properly and lines up with the barrel. You can do that by shining a light down the barrel and making sure you don't see the edge of the cylinders. But that's how you check. And a lot of these, you'll hear the first click and then the hammer will lock back and you're not locked. If you're able to cock the hammer and turn the cylinder and make it click into place, you're out of time. And that's a dangerous situation. If you're very far out of time, you know, it can be a disaster in your hands. If you're a little out, you're probably going to get shavings from the bullet blown out the cylinder gap. Not a pleasant thing to have happen either. But if it's seriously out of time, it can be real risky to even shoot. So something you want to check. Again, if you can cock the hammer all the way back and rotate the cylinder, you're going to have a little bit of play here. But if you can rotate it and click it into position, any at all, that's bad. It's out of time. So another thing you want to look at is a canted barrel shroud. This one, you can just tell by looking down the sights if your front sight is a little bit crooked one way or the other. If it leans one way or the other, it's canted. You want to avoid that. This one is looks really good. It's nice and even. Looking down the sight, the top of the front sight is flat and it's not leaning either way. So this one's not canted. That's two of the major things I'm seeing. Of course, check for heavy machining marks. You're going to have some machining marks. This is a $200 revolver. It's not going to come out looking like a Colt or a Smith & Wesson. But as long as it's only superficial, you'll have machining marks hidden behind the extractor rod. This one's not too bad. I've seen some that are just terrible. This is actually a good revolver. The thing is, you can get a bad one pretty easy and it'll bite you in the butt. So that's just a couple of things you can look for. Now, you can check your cylinder gap. Cylinder gap typically, ideally, is going to be about 6/1000 of an inch. Ideally, this one's going to be a little more than that. 7/1000 is pretty snug. And 8/1000 won't go in. So it's about 7/1000 on this one. Now, of course, you'll want to check, if you go that route and you want to check the cylinder gap, you'll want to check each cylinder. You can check it with it cocked. You'll want to check each cylinder. That one is snug also. That one's actually a little tighter. The 7/1000 won't go in it. But you'll check each cylinder and what you're looking for. You don't want less, you know, if you're getting down 2 or 3/1000 of an inch, the gun's probably going to bind up on you once it gets warmed up and gets dirty. You want to avoid that. And you don't want to go over, some people say 12/1000. I prefer not to go over 10/1000 of an inch on a cylinder gap. If I'm looking at buying a gun and it's got more than 10/1000, show you what 10/1000 looks like. This is just a filler gauge. You can pick these up anywhere, any hardware store. I think this one came from Lowe's, but there's 10/1000. You don't want to go over 10/1000 of an inch, in my opinion. Is it safe to go more than that? It can be. It depends on how well everything else is timed, how well the cylinders lined up. But ideally, I would say 3 to 8/1000 is really good, and try to avoid going over 10. So that's just some little things there that you can check at the store. You know, some places, some shops will freak out if you break out a filler gauge. You know, it's just the way it is. If you've got options, I don't recommend doing business with those folks. But if you don't have options and you can't check that, then that's you just have to live with it. You can eyeball it if it looks way out of whack, or if you turn the cylinders and one cylinder looks way closer than another cylinder, you know, you may want to just kind of move on, check out a different gun, different one of these. But that's just some basic stuff you can look at. There's a lot more things. You know, you can take this gun apart and give it a thorough going through, but most shops aren't going to allow you to do that. That's something you have to do when you get home, and you hope you got a good one. But that's some simple things you can look at while you're in the shop. And it's best if you've got 2 or 3 of these that you can look at side by side. So anyway, that's all I got. This is Buffalo, and I'll talk with y'all again soon.